Yeah, so we have covered quite a number of modules so far. Today we are at module 9, and the journey has been quite insightful, even for us as facilitators, because of the kind of reflection that we are having together as leaders and entrepreneurs. So today we'll be looking at diffusion of innovation strategy. Yeah, so how does an idea spread? When you start an idea, there is a particular systematic way the idea is absorbed into the marketplace. So we look at that concept today as we relate with some practical experiences and also maybe one or two case studies, and that will now probably enable us to see where we are in terms of any idea that we are working on as entrepreneurs. This will also present an opportunity to see where our businesses are. Are we at the initial stages of this diffusion curve? Are we at the climax? Have we tilted to the other side? So that will be clear by the time we'll be concluding this discussion tonight. So allow me to say a prayer just to be grateful to God that we have an opportunity to come together. Then we'll have a brief recap on what we covered, and then we'll transition to our module for tonight. So tonight we're just going to cover one module. We may want to allow more time for a bit of discussion, especially on the business model canvas and also the value proposition from what we covered last week. So let's make a prayer. God, we are grateful. You have given us another opportunity to come together as entrepreneurs, as leaders, and we are grateful that we have learned a lot together, broadening our thinking, broadening our perspectives about business, about entrepreneurship, about leadership, and also about the people that we are serving. We pray that as we engage tonight, guide us from the very beginning to the end. And this is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so allow me to first take us back just to reflect on what we covered last week. We had a discussion about marketing strategies, and we had the various categories. The first category was a bit broad category, where we looked at two types of marketing strategies. Maybe I may want just as to start that conversation from there. The two strategies, push marketing strategy and pull marketing strategy. And we took quite some time to reflect on this, just to see where are we at as entrepreneurs, which one are we more dominant in terms of the strategy that we are utilizing. Our dominance is in which particular strategy, and also we could see a blend, where we're blending the two. So in push marketing, we said it's more outbound. It focuses on the outside. It focuses on know more about your prospects, the imperative aspect. It is sales-driven. It's sales-driven and also focused on the selling process. Expensive and also longer sales cycle. So push, we are pushing the product to the marketplace. And then pull, it's inbound. Helps your prospects to know you, to understand us. So we are helping our prospects to be able to understand us, as opposed to where it's knowing more about our prospects. So that's the difference between now the push marketing and the pull marketing. And then this one, pull marketing, is marketing driven, not sales driven, focused on the buying process, not on the selling process. And then it's inexpensive leads and shorter sales cycle. Because already you have people who are bought into our products and our services, and therefore sealing a deal becomes shorter than in the push marketing. Then we looked at the 4Ps, of marketing. I don't know if we can recall the 4Ps of marketing. Maybe I can invite you just to reflect on the 4Ps of marketing that we discussed last week. And we can start just by mentioning them, then we can just give a highlight on the 4Ps of marketing, what they stand for, and the importance in coming up with a marketing strategy. So what were those 4Ps that we discussed last week, just to refresh our memory a little bit? Yeah, so you can just mention any that you can recall from our discussion. Any that you can recall. So we talked about the 4Ps of marketing. What are those 4Ps of marketing that we discussed last week? Okay.
Well, sana, I am in another, now I'm in Maragua.
Oh, okay.
I'm working from here. I'm sorry because now I don't have my book. I'm writing on something else. So
Okay.
because I'm not yet. Yes.
Okay. Okay, no problem, Sister Mary. And Margaret has addressed this. Yeah, thank you so much, Margaret. So we said we talked about products, we talked about price, and we talked about place and promotion. So those are the consideration. Whether it's a new business or maybe an ongoing business, then we need to think about this, the 4Ps of marketing. So product, what product are we offering? And here we are talking about maybe the brand. What's our brand? Yeah. Services as well as the products that we are offering. Then in terms of price, here we look at maybe the offer price. We look at, are there any discounts that we are offering? Do we have a credit policy? All these are issues to do with the price, but majorly is how to determine the appropriate price for the product. Then we talked about place, and place can be online or physical, yeah, and the channels that we take or we utilize in terms of marketing, and also other things that come into mind when you're talking about place is distribution or channel, but we are also talking about the convenience. How do we identify a strategic place for our business? Then promotion, here we talk about how do we advertise, how do we work around our publicity, among other areas that we'll focus on promoting our businesses. So these are the 4Ps that are key in the marketing strategy. We talked about branding, and branding, let me just focus on the 9 elements of branding strategy. So a branding strategy should have this 9 elements. So first is the brand core. And in the brand core, this where we clarify our purpose, our vision, and our values. Then in brand positioning, we ask ourselves about the audience. Basically, there we are talking about our target, maybe our target segment. Then we talk about the market and also the goals. Yeah, so brand positioning. Then we have brand persona. Here we talk about our personality, and we have seen some companies, they have certain personalities that represent their brands or the various products or the brand name of that particular company. Yeah, then we have the voice. How do we now communicate this? Taglines, what sometimes are also called like the short phrases that talk about us as entities. So these are the 9 elements of a brand strategy that we looked at last week, but majorly vision, mission, purpose, and as well as the values form part of the key area of these 9 elements of a brand strategy. What are the benefits of branding? This is also what we discussed. Loyalty gives us customer loyalty, and there are certain products we use. We have become loyal to those companies because sometimes because of how they have marketed themselves, but also how effective the products are. Then we have a high perceived value, differentiation in the market. We have increased recognition and publicity. Sometimes it can also result to increased sales and retention of customers as well. So these are just a few of what we discussed last week. Yeah, so we want to switch gear, but maybe I could just pause and inquire if you were able to look at value proposition or the business canvas model and how it relates to you as an entrepreneur. And maybe we can share any possible example that we can share from our personal experiences. So in case you had some time to look at your business canvas model and maybe indicate how it relates to you, just feel free to unmute and just give us just a bit of what you were able to come up with. Yeah, and I apologize. I know we shared a bit late the example that we were to look at, but just in case you had some time to go through, we can just share a few thoughts.
Well, I don't know whether what I will share is related to what we are talking about, but I have thought of where I am today. We have a small project on broilers, so we keep about 3,000, and with 3,000 we have a ready market, and they grow within like 4.5 weeks. All of them are sold, unless maybe there is one that has a deformity, or maybe one that has died as we bring them up. So as we produce very good ones, and all of them go at the end of the 4.5 weeks. Then we keep others and we prepare this where we place them. We buy enough food, so we feed them and we look at them day and night, until all of them are, reach a certain, let's say a certain weight, and all of them go. And I have found it to be a very good one, and it is very marketable, and they are all equal. Even if we were to keep 10,000, they would still be needed. So I tend to think, it is not a bad business as long as we have somewhere to take. So we are just trying to make their house or their pen a very good place, a clean place. We have enough water, enough food, and it has proved to be a very good business.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. And I want us to use that example. I want us
Mhm.
to use your example and populate this business model
Mhm.
canvas. So
Yes.
let's start with the first item, the key
Mhm.
partnerships. Who would
Yes.
you place under this? The
Yes.
key partnerships. Uh,
Okay, we
yeah.
partner with we partner with the Catholic diocese. Those ones
Mhm.
they are able to lay about 30,000, and then we partner with also the buyers. There is a company that comes to buy. So as they buy ours, they also buy the other. Those others for the diocese are about 30,000 at a go. So now because of that partnership, we are able to sell all of them after 4.5 weeks.
Mhm. Yeah, so
Yes.
at least now we can see key partnerships. You were able to add there the buyers, the
Yes.
diocese, and maybe as
Yes.
you list, others will come up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then key
Yes.
activities. Key activities, I think
Mhm.
you have mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe here we'll include they broilers. I know they are purely for meat, or
Yes.
is there? Are you doing it for eggs or something else?
No,
So,
no, no. Just for meat,
hmm,
and that whatever is found there is a profit. It used to assist. We have a center where we help girls who cannot pay school fees, school dropouts, those who dropped out in maybe Form 1, Form 2, because of lack of school fees, or their parents are drunkards. So we assist them to get a course like maybe tailoring or salon or computer. We are able to pay for them through the profit that we get. And so many girls have benefited by now through that. We have a center just near us here, which has a few computers and it has a few machines for tailoring and also a few machines for salon. So that's how we are helping those girls, the very poor ones. And some have children, small children. So they come with them to that center. And so we look for food. We are able to feed them as they feed the small children and then they go home in the evening. So these brothers have helped a lot to assist, to help the community around here, to help the poor.
mhm. Yeah, and that can be part of your value proposition. Yeah, so that it goes beyond probably what you are getting in terms of the income, but also what you are contributing as part of the impact. So I feel that can be part of the value proposition as well. Yeah. So at least that gives us an example. So then we look at customer relationships. Maybe how do we access these customers? Is it one-on-one? Is it through um, maybe you have certain strategies that you have put in place to be able to deal with the customer. So I'll just leave this so that we can think about it. Then customer segments. This one you mentioned, part of the key partnerships or key partners, some of them can be under the customers or the customer segments. Yeah, then resources, what do you require? Then we list all the resources here. And then cost structure, what are the costs that you're incurring? Maybe advertising the job and any other cost. And then how do you raise revenue? Yeah. So this is why we were talking about. You keep them for meat, but are there any other sources of revenue? Then we list all of them here. So once we do this, at least we have a business model canvas for our business, and this is what can help us to also refine or even develop a business plan as we discussed. Yeah. Okay, so thank you, Mary, for that example. I think that has given us some insights. Yeah, so let's talk about diffusion of innovation strategy. And the first thing is to just understand what is this diffusion of innovation strategy. Yeah, it started from a technological space, so the thinking was more on technology, but it has spread to other products and services as well. So the process by which a new product, service, or idea is accepted by the market, that's what we are calling the diffusion of innovation strategy. Yeah, so how an innovation is spread. Yeah, the speed with which the new idea spread from one consumer to the next. So as I said, initially it was more on technology. So how new technological and other advancement spread throughout society, culture, or the uh, uh, immediate users of our product. So, and this concept was developed by someone known as Everett Rogers, and he proposed 5 main elements that influence the spread of a new product. How do people embrace a new product? I'm thinking about even us as GLN. Yeah, when we release a new product, how is it embraced? How is it adopted? So, according to Everett Rogers, there are 5 main elements that influence the spread. How these are the things that influence how a product is, the uptake of a product. First is the innovation itself. Is the product an innovation? Yeah, does it bring some newness into the market? Does it bring some newness into the to the user? So the innovation itself, the nature of the innovation, and maybe the innovations we can talk about here, especially in the Kenyan context, we have something like Safaricom that has been there for a while. We have other innovations that have come up that we can appreciate that we used those products, or the uptake was high because it was an innovation that people felt it is unique. Yeah. So then the adopters, and adopters here are the consumers. So the consumers also determine how the idea spread, and then communication. How do we communicate? That also determines how a product is the uptake of a product. Time is also another factor, and then social system. Yeah, so time, we are talking about time for innovation to be developed and adopted. Social system, we are talking about set of interrelated units to accomplish a common goal. So we are talking about all the ecosystem, the ecosystem around the innovation, the product, the adopters, the communication, and also the society at large. So these are the 5 elements that determine the absorption of a product. So this theory, this diffusion of innovation strategy is adopted from the diffusion of innovation theory. Yeah, and it talks about how new products are adopted, and it is categorized into the levels there, 5 of them. Yeah, so 5 categories of adopters. So when a product is launched, there are 5 kinds of adopters of a product. The first one, we call them innovators, and these are quite few. They are 2.5%, and I'm going to expound on that. Then we have early adopters, who are about 13.5%. Then early majority, 34%. Then we have late majority, when we are getting to the climax or to the peak of the adoption of the product. And then the laggards. These are the last people to use a product or to adopt a product. Yeah, so even our customers, we can categorize them into one of these 5 adopters categories. And you see the innovators. Yeah, innovators, they love to discover new ideas, inventions, and technology. Yeah, so these are the people that typically are responsive for creation of new production or new product themselves. So these are curious. they are very keen. They are always looking for what is new. Yeah, when is the new phone coming out? The new iPhone. Yeah, and they are quick to get into or to buy any new product that comes into the market. Then we have early adopters. Yeah, so this can be thought of as influencers. So they develop the first opinion on the product because they are open to change. These ones are open to change and are always attracted to new experiences. So closer to the innovators, but they follow. Then we have early majority. So this is where we are getting to a bigger portion or a bigger share in the market. So these are basically the population that follows the early adopters, and they believe influencers' opinions. Yeah, so their behavior typically includes reading and watching reviews before purchasing products. So this they take time. The early majority take more time. They are able to look at what the early adopters said about the product, the innovators. So, like now, I've seen if you are booking a hotel or you are buying a product, you want to see the reviews, yeah, before you can make a decision. Then from there, we go to the late majority. They are a bit skeptical and they don't like to change. Yeah. So often they only adopt to a new product when they are pressured, yeah, into believing that if they don't adopt to this new innovation, they could fail or they could fall behind. So these ones are there is some sort of pressure for them to adopt the new product. Then we have the laggards. Yeah, here we use the word they are lazy. Yeah, maybe in quotes. Yeah, so they adopt to a new product if they feel they have no other choice. Yeah, they are conservative and only gets persuaded after the whole system has shifted. Think about when you were switching from analog to digital TV. Maybe the innovators, they shifted fast. Immediately, maybe the technology was released. Early adopters could have followed, and then early majority, then late majority. Maybe the laggards, they followed when now the analog signals were switched off. Yeah, so in that transition period, the laggards may not even switch in the transition period. They may switch after the transition period because maybe the services are no longer available. So these are always the last category to adopt. So again, just to give some more insights on this, we are saying innovators, they're very willing to take risks and want to be the first to try the innovation. Then early adopter, this is another model, but the percentage will use the earlier percentages. Then early adopters, these are people who are already aware of the need of change and are very comfortable in adopting new ideas. Then early majority, they adopt new ideas after seeing evidence, and that's why we talked about the reviews. Then late majority, they adopt innovative technology or product as it diffuses through society. And then the laggards, the last to adopt new product or service, they resent change and may continue to rely on traditional products until they are no longer available. And I mentioned about that. Yeah. So innovators, they are educated. We can say they are multiple in terms of sources. Early adopters, they are social leaders, popular or educated. Early majority, they are deliberate in their move. And then late majority, these ones together with the laggards, they can be skeptical, traditional, and then they also they can be driven with some sort of fear. Yeah. So this is just a summary of the categories. So we are saying innovators are willing to take risks, yeah, and sometimes they have financial capacity. Early adopters, they have the highest degree of opinion leadership among the adopters categories. Early majority, they vary in terms of degree of time. Yeah, so, but again, remember we said they take time to review, to look at the reviews. Then late majority, a bit skeptical in their approach, and they have also a bit of influence in the space, because I remember this is also 34%. Then the laggards, the last to adopt an innovation, yeah, again they are skeptical, and they are also a bit traditional in how they look at things. Okay. Yeah, so maybe before I move on to the crossing the chasm, I don't know what is your reflection on this discussion. Is there something crossing your mind as we look at this diffusion of innovation theory and how it relates? Are you able to see the various categories? Maybe when you launched your product, did you have these innovators, the few people who were ready to embrace the product, and then the early adopters, the 13%, then the early majority? Yeah, so maybe we could just get to hear some experience in terms of how you can relate with what we are sharing tonight. Yeah, I don't know if we able to relate with this. I know in terms of other products, we have seen this happening, like in the transition from the digital to analog television, even in technology, the adoption of technology. I think we also saw a bit of this in the space, in the marketing space, or in the entire cycle on how the new products were adopted. Yeah. So maybe let's just walk through. Yes, Mary.
I mean, I would just like to say that when we started the school I was talking about, there were some people who were skeptical about it. Others said, we want to see whether it will perform. They didn't know whether it would succeed at all. So there were parents who could not bring their children because they thought it is just a school that has started, it can't do anything. So they took time. But later on, when the children did very well, they were the best in that place, the whole of that zone. Now they started bringing their children. So I would say, like, it's this one who could not, they would say, let our children remain in the public school. We don't need to go to this new school. We don't think it will do well. So they started that, the early majority, the late majority, the laggards were there. And finally, they realized that it was a good product. And so they brought their children to the school.
Yeah. So we can see that that cycle. Yeah, we can see that cycle. Okay. So there is something we also call crossing the chasm, and this is a concept that is also very important in relating to the diffusion of innovation curve. So the innovation must be widely adopted in order to self-sustain. So at the innovator stage, that innovation may not be sustainable because we have a few people who have adopted our product. So we need to get to where the masses are. So innovation, critical mass. Yeah, this is a point that lies at the boundary between the early adopters. You can see the early adopters and the early majority, because here we are talking about 34%. So the moment we are able to get to this, we have gotten into the bigger share or the bigger part segment of the market. So crossing here, this is what we call the chasm. Yeah. So the chasm is like there is a gap here that we have to jump. Yeah, we have to jump across this. So this tipping point between the niche appeal, this niche appeal is this early category, yeah, and the mass. This is what we refer to as the chasm. Okay, so crossing the chasm means the opportunity for being able to get a higher growth and also market success, because we are now getting to a bigger portion of the market. So it is the leap from being a new, little known, and exploratory product to mass adoption. Yeah. So the reason why a majority of the businesses are unable to cross the chasm relates to differences between the needs of the early adopters and also the needs of the early majority and how they embrace change. Yeah, so these are very important conversation, because you might find maybe many companies, they remain here. Because I remember we were talking about I was making a presentation at ICA Insurance, and we discussed about the penetration of insurance in Kenya. It is about 3%. So that tells you insurance has not gotten into maybe even to the early adopters, or it's just getting into the early adopters. So how to get to this main majority? Many strategies are required here to cross this chasm. And that's really the essence of this discussion tonight. So the question that I would really want us to think through is, how do we cross a product from early adopters to the main majority? I want to pose that as a question of reflection. How do we cross, jump from these early adopters to the main majority? Because this is where now we have the critical mass that will help us to sustain our product. Yeah. So we can think of it generally. You can think of it as what you are doing as a business. I'm also trying to think about it in relationship to GLN. So how do we cross this chasm? What are some of the possible strategies that can help us to help an organization to cross the chasm? Let's maybe reflect on that and maybe share a few thoughts on this before I continue. Yes, Margaret.
Hello, when you asked to have a comment about the innovation, the diagram itself, I remembered which, I can't remember which course we did with you, and we actually had this curve. They are now the Mavita, they are the adopters, and up to the budget. I can't remember which course, either in Masterclass or strategic class. I can't remember. Now, I'm thinking in terms of your current question. What can we do about the crossing of the chasm? From experience, when I come across somebody or people trying to provide some services, they use, okay, that's now the innovators, but the users also have a tendency to try and understand what the innovators are coming up with. So I tend to think maybe, first of all, education. Education is key to raise the awareness that people can have knowledge, the proper knowledge about what is coming up, what the innovators are coming up with. And another one is, especially from my end, is how genuine this provider or the innovator is. People are a bit skeptical what people are coming up. What is this person or this group trying to introduce to us? Is it genuine? How much can we trust about this product? And especially when now from where I'm coming from, we want to give information, to train on self-care. And again, now specifically focusing on the training people to take care of themselves, and also to my area now, if I can anchor the manual I'm trying to write, the information need to be very, very, very true, very genuine. And I realized that's how I came now to get to a bit go down and to get the permission to do it. Because if I remember you saying that especially not only what I'm writing, even how the people who would recommendation and and in fact, when we talked about the personality, I don't know, I can't remember which area we talk about the person, a service, who are the person, the people who are forwarding me as an innovator. They have to be people who are well respected. Let me use the word respected, and even trusted in the community. And I remember when we started, I had a team of care providers. We had to start off even running manager home of the elderly. And the first thing they would ask, what is it that we are going to get from you? Even training these people, and as usual, traditional ways of doing it, of what has been happening. I realized this will not work for me. I said, let me now go and do it professionally. I know myself and my colleagues are still providing the care, the services. And I said, let me try to innovate something there, training out, training them using what is the actually professional approach, so that people believe what care give. I don't know whether I'm able to really communicate well, because I'm still far from actually achieving my goal, but I hope one day I'll be able to achieve my goal. So when people read my manual, they can actually get information which is genuine, true, and something some people will use without really questioning who is this care? Is this care acceptable? Is it and of course maybe issue about affordability, because again that is a population which you cannot expect to have to make high profit. It will be quite low profit, but I'm ready to go to that level. So really, I can say the general jumping or time on where I'm taking up approach what I've now service to provide. I think I want to say that, and maybe you'll clarify for me whether is it making sense.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Margaret. Yeah, you've really, I like what you have shared. Yeah, like the first one, which is very important, is awareness creation. And I agree with you. Awareness creation is one of the strategy that can help us to cross this chasm. Yeah, so that's truly we relate with that. I remember even the discussion I had with ICA, one of the issue that we identified was awareness creation, so that we invest. And here we were not just talking about awareness in terms of sales. We are talking about awareness in terms of value. Yeah, why should you take an insurance cover? Yeah, what is the value? And you do not have sometimes even to sell the product. Create the appetite for people to reach out, yeah, to be able to now get the products after appreciating the value. So I agree with you. Awareness creation, very important. I also agree with you. The second point, yeah, trust. Can people trust my products? Yeah, so the genuineness of the product, the quality of the product, credibility. Is the product credible? Yeah, credible products and services. Who has referred this product? Yeah, and that is now where the issue of the reviews comes in. Who has used this product? Who has referred this product? Who has recommended this product? And this again speaks to the branding strategy that we looked at earlier. The brand persona. There is one person who can recommend a product, and that product gets into the market in a massive way. Yeah, in a massive way, because that's a person of high influence in society, and maybe the person has also a higher followership. But again, what again is important is in terms of sustaining that. So you also want to use mechanisms or strategies that are more sustainable. I like this. Thank you so much for sharing. That was an eye opener, and it has given us some new perspectives in terms of how to cross the chasm. Okay. Thank you so much. Maybe, Mary, I don't know if there's something you can add.
Well, I think that this is the greatest job in a business, to close the chasm. And I would only want to say that I would go back to the school, because it went through a very big process before we got the majority. So we took a bus. We didn't have money, but through equity, we were able to get a bus. So a bus in the name of the school would take children for music to Mombasa, Kisumu, Meru, other places. And that bus did a lot. It helped us a lot to cross the chasm. So through that bus, many people would see that I think this school is offering something good. It is quality education. So we are going to take our children there. So we got so many children, and the business grew through that bus, which was advertising the school indirectly. It made people believe in the school, though it was a very small school that was starting, but they were able to see something good is coming out of there. So for me, that helped a lot in closing that chasm, that at least people would see we are doing something. And then we would explain to whoever came to the school, or those who are inquiring, would explain to them what we offer. Sometimes we would go to a church, like in Thika. On Sundays, we would go celebrate with the Christians there, then talk to them about the school and encourage them and say we are having holistic formation for the children. And that gave us a very big breakthrough. So I tend to think we were able now to get the larger majority there, and many people accepted that that school is a good school, and we got very many children out of that.
Wow. This is very interesting. I think this is quite a mouthful. I think this is the whole discussion about tonight's session. One thing that I've picked from you, Mary, is convenience. Yeah, convenience.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we make access to our product convenient, or to our services? Mm-hmm. And that's now where a bus comes in. We can make it convenient by ensuring that we add value, the value addition. Yes, our focus is on education, but there are many other things around this. So how do we make this convenient? I think that's a major point that I've picked from you. Then value chain. What are the connected players that will eventually enable this aspect of educating these kids be achieved? And can we participate in the value chain? So, for example, now in your value chain, transporters are in the value chain.
Yes.
And you now included that because sometimes in the value chain, we depend on other people. So you could hire maybe a transport company, but there are also times that the value chain, we're able to manage a number of value chains. So maybe training is one of the value chain where we need trainers, transport. We also have suppliers of products and services, the books. So certain organizations would try to handle as many components of the value chain as possible, depending on their capacity, or others will focus on one value chain and then onboard others. So from what you have shared, I see how you tried to make it convenient for the educators or for the learners to be able to access education. You participated in the value chain, including the transportation. And this one reminds me of the churches. Churches that nowadays, they have buses going for their members from very far away. They transport them, bring them to the church. We have companies that transport their workers. Yeah. So I think I like that. That's a very good way of crossing the chasm. Mary, thank you for sharing. I don't know if there's something you may want to add.
Well, I think that was one of the main things. And then we employed trained teachers. Though we trained in giving salaries because we were still starting the school, we made sure that every teacher is a trained teacher. And so we were offering very good education to the children. We didn't want to joke around with the education. And this also helped. But the bus did a lot of good to us. We would get children from home, take them back in the evening, then we would take them for activities, as I have said, like music and others, and we would take them even to participate in the churches that are far away. So that really helped us to break that chasm, to have a breakthrough.
Yeah. So value addition, yes, we are here for education, but can we go an extra mile? Can we offer some value-added services? Take them for music festival. Recently, my firstborn, my daughter, they went to Mombasa, as Form 4s, and they were taken through a flight from Nairobi to Kisumu. They went to Kisumu, and that's a game changer.
Yes, that's great.
That's a game changer. That school has so many children, and they're even spending. They didn't charge as much because we were paying 16,000. Yeah,
all the way to Kisumu.
All the way
and
to Kisumu.
Mombasa. Yes.
They went to one destination. They went to Kisumu.
That's very great for the children also.
Yeah, so they flew from Nairobi to Kisumu, and then they came back by bus for 5 days.
They will even start performing.
That's
They
true.
start performing in school. Yeah, that's how our children started performing. Anyone who went for music became maybe number one, got a certificate in Kisumu or in Mombasa, he would start working hard immediately. So we have so many who went to the university after that.
Yeah, so value addition can help us to cross the chasm. And you have also mentioned something very important. The internal stakeholders, the teachers, the employees. Those are the people who can also help us cross this chasm. If they feel they don't appreciate working in our organizations, they may not talk about our organizations out there. They may not talk about our products out there. They may not market our school. But if they feel they are part and parcel of the institution, they are valued, they are motivated, then they are one of the channels that we can use to be able to cross the chasm. That's really important as well, what you have mentioned.
Yes, and I think we had talked about in another lesson about forming them to be good leaders. So every week I had a session with them, forming them, showing them that, teaching is a noble job, but the reward is in heaven, showing them it is the work of God they are doing. Every week I had a session of like 30 minutes with them, and that helped them a lot to own the school and to do a very big job. And we were able to overcome that chasm.
Yeah, these are very good input. Thank you so much. And then the last one that you mentioned was trained teachers. So that talks about quality of service, and training is part of also how we motivate. We motivate our internal stakeholders. Wow, I like this. I think it's aligned with what we do as GLN. GLN, one of the things that we are focused on is to give as much value to the leaders as possible so that they feel comfortable to refer the program to other leaders. So you give sometimes individualized focus to the leaders. We go an extra mile. Yeah, you go an extra mile just to make sure that the leaders are comfortable. We train them with dignity, appreciate them, and also quality of the work. And Margaret talked about this. Quality of what we are training. Is it something that was new? Is it something that you have learned that you may want someone else to go through it? So such kind of strategies. But I appreciate what you have shared has really made this discussion very, very, very rich. So I'll just do a summary. Yeah. So in crossing the chasm, we are saying the early adopters embrace change and are ready to try something new, as we already mentioned this. Yeah. So the early and late majorities are more risk averse. Yeah. So that's why the absorption is a bit low. They need proof. And that is why they look at the reviews. Yeah, so being ready to meet the needs of the next round of new customers. This is how, again, we can cross the chasm. So meeting the needs of the pragmatic majority. So what are the next needs of my customer? Not just the current needs, but I'm asking myself, yes, this is how the society looks like now. This is how these learners are. This is what they require now. But in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, what will be the greatest needs of these learners? Yeah. And that way now we're able to think ahead of the users of the products and services. We are able to think ahead of them. Remember, we talked about the red ocean strategy and the blue ocean strategy. So we are asking ourselves, what are the needs of the next round of our new customers or even existing customers? So building a bridge to the early majority customers by reducing the perceived risks and also demonstrating the benefits of product and services. And this is where we talked about awareness creation. And then communicating the benefits of using a product and service, again, as part of the awareness creation. Yeah. Reducing the perceived risks, encouraging customer advocacy, including the employees, as we have said, from existing customer base, where we use networking and referrals, demonstrating strength and competitive advantage. Part of what we have shared here is value addition. Yeah, a value addition. So I think the parting shot for tonight, it is on what we have discussed. For me, I feel this has formed a key point of reflection for tonight. And I may want us to reflect deeper. maybe in the next meeting, you can use the simplest ways possible to share this with your leaders and have a brainstorming session. How do we, if we are at, you can presume, if we are at 13%, we are at the early adopters, we want to get to this bigger portion. What are the possible strategies that we can use? And just see, in addition to what you have or what we have shared, what are the other possible ideas that the leaders you are working with can be able to add into this. And these are part of what becomes part of our strategic objectives, and they inform our strategic plan as we plan our growth maybe in the next 5 years or so. So I'll leave you with this, that let's reflect deeper. If you need to read deeper about this, I think that will be a good way to deepen this, the understanding of this concept, but more importantly, how to relate this with our current setup. So thank you so much for really engaging, sharing so much. We really appreciate from your contribution. So as I indicated today, we were just going to handle one topic or one module, because after this we'll remain with one more two modules actually, but next week we'll cover one, and then the other one we'll have one of us talking about financial management. Yeah, so I'll stop there and just to check if there is any comment or question before we can wind up.
I would like to say I appreciate very much our discussion tonight. It's very important, and it has reminded me a lot about, that chasm. It really exists as you start a business, and if you don't have any vision, or if that time you would be discouraged, you can even add that. You can quit the business and forget about it, unless now you decide what to do to go over that chasm. It's a very trying time for a business. So thank you I have gained a lot from the discussion.
Yeah, thank you too. I've also gained so much from the discussion. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, Margaret, you have any comment?
Yes, we need to appreciate this session. Sometimes we think of the Entrepreneurship Masterclass, and you think of it's a very complex issue, business, only to realize that those are the things that we usually do, the experiences we go through. But now we are, I would say, coming to a level where I'm feel it, you touch it. It's something that I've experienced. It's not that I do not know how I would express it, because for sure we have been either progressing or stagnating, and you wonder, why am I stagnating? Why am I not able to move from the one point to the other point? And just now look back and reflect, or even look for more information, research, and especially now the knowledge you are gaining, then it will take us it's a milestone. I would say it's a milestone for me. And having or with all the experience I have, not having gone through a course like this, how to run a business, was it was really what would I say, a big task. And now I'm gaining more confidence, and I believe going forward, where things are not very okay, look back, reflect, get more information, research more, partner with people who have the knowledge, who can hold them by hand, and move on. But I thank you for this. I look forward to the time you complete and you'll be able to really apply to our situation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Margaret. Yeah, I'm happy because I know that we are really focused on your manual now, and I think this discussion has triggered our focus, and it has also given us some structure. So even as we work on that manual, I think we're already ahead in terms of what we anticipate to come out, and also some of the possible strategies that we are going to employ going forward. So thank you so much, leaders. We highly appreciate for very, very engaging discussion that we have had tonight. May God indeed bless you. So we'll connect again next week on Wednesday, and we'll be looking at entrepreneurship success factors. Again, a very, very important discussion that every entrepreneur needs to appreciate and also apply. So thank you so much. Let's say a prayer as we pause for tonight. God, we are grateful. You've given us such an insightful engagement. Thank you for what we have learned today, what we have shared. And we pray that using this knowledge, we'll be able to scale up our businesses, but most importantly, be able to make a significant impact to the people that we are serving. We want to pray, even as we rest tonight, that you give us a restful night. We pray this, trusting and believing in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much, leaders. May you all have a blessed night.
Thank you, and you too.
Yeah, thank you. Good night too.